So these are both holy days. Okay. Um, so now with that, we're gonna jump into Exodus, the 12th chapter, because this 14th Street Israelite, he started. Okay, he started at he started in Exodus, what, the 16th
16.
chapter, which we don't really know why he did that. But there's no reason to start in the 16th chapter. Okay. Um, so let's just begin the lesson.
All right, Exodus 12:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right. Because when he started in Exodus the 16th chapter, that was the second month. That was the second month. We're dealing with really the first month, and this is mainly because his question later on at the end of the video is getting into the Passover, right? So to understand the Passover, you got to go back, and that's why we're in Exodus the 12th chapter, because it's the Passover chapter. Okay, now it said this month, okay, 2320. See how this wasn't this the same for new moon?
Right.
Okay, it said this new moon shall be unto you the beginning of month, the beginning, okay, of new moons, 2320. It shall be the first, that's literally the number one, new moon of the year to you. Because the word month comes from the Hebrew word new moon, which we'll go back into it, which is Chadash. See, first day of the month. So from the first day of the month, we can now tell what the seventh day will be, what the 14th day will be, and what the 21st day will be. And those are important keys too, as we will continue to read. Um, okay, so go ahead with verse 3.
Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Right, now it said the 10th day, right? So 10 days after the new moon, see so how it's counting it? The 10th day. Then you have other phrases which we'll see in the New Testament where it says the first day, right? Well, you can't tell what the first day is or what the second day is unless you know what the first day is, and that's determined by the new moon. Okay, it said in the 10th day of this month, you're gonna get a lamb ready. Okay, well, guess what happened on the 7th day of that month? It was a what? It was a Sabbath. So 10 is coming up on what number? 14, which if you know your sevens, right? 7, 14, 21, 28, which really that fourth, the new moon is going to come in to replace that. Okay. So,
But it's like, but let him tell it. The 10th day of the month would be, because everybody thinks
right,
Sunday is the first day of the week.
right.
So
So the 10th day to him would be a
it would be
Wednesday.
a Wednesday.
Right,
But that's just the what we're trying to
right,
get across to you, that that's Esau's logic, the
right,
logic of the white man on how he calculates the months and the days. All right, but you're not gonna find Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like I said earlier in the scripture.
right. Yeah, you're not gonna find it. And there's someone recently we rewatched the video just to make sure we know what we're gonna go into, and someone put that on the comment board. Show us where Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or any of that stuff is on, in the Bible, in the scriptures.
Right.
Because clearly we're showing you it doesn't deal with that. You can type in blue letter, any day of the week, you're not gonna find it. Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. You're not gonna find that stuff. Okay. Um. So go ahead and actually jump down to verse 6.
All right, verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
So see, there's the point. To the 14th day of the same month. Now, what's going on here? What time
Sabbaths.
we're dealing with the Sabbath? And so what is he keeping? And on the 14th day, what's going to happen? Keep reading. We're gonna figure this out.
And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
So I wonder, why would you kill it in the evening? What are we dealing with? What's the subject matter? The Passover, right? So look, you can't know when the 14th day of the month is, when the Passover is, unless you know what, when the new moon is, because the new moon is what, the first day,
Right.
right? Okay, so let's jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread, even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
What is that first day? That's the Passover,
Passover.
which is really what, the 14th day,
Right.
right? Which is a Sabbath. So you see, the Sabbath and the Passover, if those can be on the same days, then why can't the new moon and the Sabbath, like what Amos clearly knew about, what he was talking about? He said of the people, because the people said, when will the new moon and the Sabbath be gone, that they can sell corn and falsify balances? You see how all this is tying together now? You know, a light should be starting to click. Okay. Um, Jump to verse 16. We'll just try to make it, short and sweet.
Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, what we read earlier,
Right. According to the law, the brother brought out.
shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat,
Right.
that only may be done of you.
Right. So it said in the first day is a Sabbath. Well, the first day is what? The new moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it said in the seventh day, right? It was another Sabbath, and then 3 days later was the 10th day that you took out the lamb, and then the 14th day was the Passover, right?
Right.
Okay, so now it's gonna keep going with this with 7. What comes next after 14? 21. Right. So let's read verse 18.
Verse 18. In the first month of the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread.
Okay, so in the first month of the 14th day of the new moon, okay, which you can't tell when the first day is unless you know when the new moon is, right? Oh yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I'm over here pointing like they can see my finger.
Yeah, right.
Right. So month, new moon, 2320. Okay, at even. There's another key point. At even, because that's really when the day begins or a day is over because this new evening comes in. Like tonight, in literally it's 8:52 for us. In literally 5 minutes, guess what's over? The Sabbath. The Sabbath is gonna be over, right? And then we can go buy, sell, and trade, right? It says, okay, keep reading. So go ahead, Salak.
Ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 20th day of the month at even.
Until the 21st day of the new moon at even, because it's always from even to even, from evening to evening. This is where you get the word evening from even to even. So now that light bulb should really be on, man. Despicable Me light bulb, right? That should be on. So you had the first day of the month, which is determined by the new moon. 7 days later is a Sabbath. The 14th day was the Passover. The 21st day was the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, now this is important, okay, because we're based off the lunar calendar, not the Gregorian calendar. Okay, the days referred to as numbers are, our days are referred to as numbers. First, we're giving you the example: 7:20, the 7th day, the 21st day, the 10th day. Nowhere does it talk about Monday through Sunday. None of that. And what you should know already, you should have did a little research to learn about the Gregorian calendar. Even that calendar is all wonky because September, the root word there is sept, which means 7. Then you have October, which is where you get octopus, octagon, right, meaning 8. Then you have November, which is Spanish, and nueve, which is 9. And then you have December, which is where you get, again in Spanish, diez, which is 10. Okay, and you should know that Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar had 2 months named after him. That's why you have August, and that's why you have July. Now, again, December is the first winter month, and the winter goes all the way until January, and
That's
into the end of February, and then the beginning of March and April. Guess what? That's the spring. That's the spring. Okay, now that's going to be another key point. So now we'll get Genesis 1 and 14 again. Let's bring that back up. Okay. So now we're going to go back to Genesis 1 and 14, just for a quick reference. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, bro.
Genesis 1 and 14. And the Most High, it's like a verbatim, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and
Right.
for years.
Right. Okay, so we're going to keep this up. Now let's jump to Exodus 13 and 4. Okay, so now we moved out of Exodus the 12th chapter, and now we're moving into Exodus the 13th chapter, verse 4, because this is another point that's going to get in on why we just explained the Gregorian and when winter time begins and when spring time begins. Okay.
This is Exodus 13 and 4. This day came ye out in the month of Bib.
It's a yeah, which in the Hebrew is Abayab. Okay, it's Abayab. I already got it pulled up here. Exodus 13 and 4. Right, and this day came you out in the new moon. Abayab. Okay, so let's look this word up. Abayab. Okay, Hebrews H24. Okay, and it says it means fresh. In regards to young barley ears or barley, it says month. This is also known as the month of ear forming, which ear forming is referring to corn. What did we read about in Amos 8 and 5?
Corn, so
That we may sell corn. Why? Because it's forming. It says of greening of crop. Of greening of crop.
ain't nothing green in the wintertime.
There's nothing green in the wintertime. What else is growing or greening of crop? Cattle.
Mhm.
Animals are being born. Right? It says of growing green, Abayab. It says month. Okay, this is the month of Exodus and Passover, which is March or April. Which is March or April. Now with this, you got to understand too that because time has been so constrained in a finite boundary to these Edomites, okay, that they've always said, no, this is what it is, this is what it is. They've ignored how time has moved. Okay, so this year our Passover was in the end of February to the beginning of March because time has moved. Time, time, everything moves in circles. Everything moves in circles. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you can see it or not. Everything moves in circles.
Me and one of the brothers was talking yesterday about just the solar system, man. That's one big clock.
One big clock.
Genesis 1 and 14, sign seasons. That's one big clock, man.
Yeah, if you look at the Mayan or the Aztec calendar, it's a big wheel, and within a bunch of other little wheels that are all turning and spinning, and they can all line up at the same point, and they can all be variated, and just 2 points are lined up here, or maybe 2 here, while one's lined up here with 3 over here, and 1 over here, and 2 over there, and 1 there, and right.
But eventually, some point in time, they all gonna line up.
It's all gonna line up, and you had that happen December 21st, 2012, which was it all just like it just all went to to 12.
Yeah.
Like it all just went to 12, and it resets.
Yeah.
And that's what people were bugged out about. Oh, the clock's gonna reset.
Right.
Well, guess what? When the last grain of sand goes in the hourglass, what do?
Yeah,
You flip it over. You reset it. So that should be an easy concept alone. Okay, right.
Because the definition being a fresh young barley ears, which we know that applies to spring, and for people that people know that the Lord was, well, some people, brothers
Right.
know that the Lord was born in the spring during the Passover.
And during the Passover, which it does snow over there in the Middle East. You had what they called a freak snowstorm last year in the winter in Jerusalem, where it totally got snowed in there. Like, what the hell's going on? Well, if their Passover was held during the winter, how are all those people going to get there to hold the Passover feast? Because they all got to be there, right? So how is Yahweh Shai, Joseph, right, going to carry, his pregnant woman over there, right? And his son was delivered that night. right? And then 12 years later they went back. Um, it's recorded that they're there with Yahushua. You know, he stayed behind and he was teaching. So that, you know, these things should click, man. These things should click.
This is a Luke 2:7. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night.
Right. So who's gonna be out in the dead of winter at night, when it's even colder at night,
Mm-hmm.
with their sheep, man? You see this cuts that whole Christmas, you know, doctrine and bullshit. This is another, you know, this we could go on and do a side show about this. Do a segue. We could segue into something else on this. All right. Well, let's get back to Exodus 13 and verse 5. Okay.
Exodus 13:5. And it shall be with the Lord, and it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey, that thou shalt keep this service in this month.
Right, and there goes the new moon again, 23:20. And this new moon, okay, verse 6.
Verse 6. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread.
Right, 7 days. So, what's the end of that 7? Because remember, the Passover was on the 14th. Is be the 20 and the 1 and 20th day, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
And in the seventh day shall and in the seventh day shall be a feast to the Lord.
Right. Jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy month.
Right. So let's just out of curiosity, let's look up.
So like it be in thy mouth. So like
Let's look up this word memorial. I guess what this word is here. Memorial, reminder, remembrance. What did we look up earlier? To remember,
yeah.
right? The Sabbath and keep it holy.
Right.
This saying as a memorial, as a reminder in remembrance to rehearse the righteous acts. So the Sabbath, you have to remember it as even that's a memorial and a remembrance, man. Okay, so they're doing this from year to year, having the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you know, the first fruits, the memorial, the blowing of the trumpets, the Day of Atonement. I know I'm missing Purim, the water, Hanukkah. Yep. So you got to remember these things. You gotta look into these things, right? Otherwise, how are you gonna honor? You know, how are you gonna memorialize this, right? Okay.
Because unlike Esau's so-called folly days,
Right.
they're the same. They fall on the same time frame every year, which in the scriptures, you know, the high holy days do too. But Esau's like Christmas. Everybody knows, okay, when the 25th of December comes around, we know that's so-called Christmas.
Right.
You know, but being that you know, the high holy days aren't according to Esau's timeline, you know, you got to be extra diligent to know when they come about.